Well, good day. It's Dalene with Networking Naturally, the heart of selling. Oh, salesy. Such a bad word. But you know what? If we didn't buy something, we'd be sitting naked on the ground, wouldn't we? It's as honorable to sell as it is to buy. Why real sales begins with service, connection, and the most important thing, trust. When most people hear the word sales, their minds jump to scripts, pitches, and closing techniques. They imagine someone trying to persuade them, convince them, or push them into something they may not want. For many, sales has become synonymous with pressure, a high stakes moment when one person wins and the other person loses. But real sales couldn't be further from that. At its core, sales is about connection. It's about understanding people, listening deeply, and creating real value. It's the moment when a need meets a solution, when clarity replaces confusion, and when trust becomes the bridge between two people. In truth, sales is not a transaction, it's a transformation. When done well, it leaves both people better than they were before the conversation. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a service provider, a volunteer, a community leader, or simply someone building their professional network, you're in sales. Every time you explain what you do, help someone solve a problem, or build a relationship, you're practicing the art or the heart of selling. And if you've ever felt uncomfortable with selling, you'll be relieved to know that the most effective approach isn't about being slick or persuasive. It's about being human. That's where the SALES framework comes in. A people first, service first way of approaching conversations that makes sales feel natural, grounded, and meaningful. Before we get to the framework, let's start with the biggest myth of all. Why so many people fear sales and why they don't have to. Most people dislike selling because they believe one of three things. I don't want to seem pushy. Good, no one enjoys a pushy salesperson. The discomfort comes when you think your job is to convince. But when your job is simply to help, the pressure disappears and people feel safe. I'm not a natural salesperson. The best sales professionals aren't high energy extroverts. They're thoughtful listeners, curious question askers, and people who genuinely want to support others. If you can listen and care, you can sell naturally. What if they say no? A no usually means the timing isn't right, the fit isn't right, the value isn't clear yet. People don't buy when you want them to. They buy when they're ready. And that's why if you develop the relationships, anything you do becomes so much easier. It's never a reflection of your work. And when you follow up with kindness and consistency, many no's become not yet, and eventually, yes. The fear fades when you remember sales is not about pressure. It's about partnership. One of the things that I had been reaching out to a person because I'll keep reaching out to people until they say no. After maybe the third or fourth, I'll say, look, I do not want to bother you. Please let me know if you do want to connect. And that's usually when the start of the conversation. And I've had many more than one person say, I wanted to see how persistent you were, because obviously if you're persistent, you would like my business. And I think that shows that you are interested in more than just a sale. The sales, which is SALES formula, a simple, human-centered approach to authentic selling. Serve the customer's need. Everything begins with service. Real selling isn't, how do I get them to buy? How can I help this person? To serve, you must first care about their goals, their frustrations, their concerns, priorities, and most of all, their hopes. Service is the foundation of trust, and trust is what moves people forward. Asking the right questions. Questions spark clarity. They help you understand not only what somebody needs, but why they need it. Great questions include, what would make the biggest difference for you right now? What's the outcome you're hoping for? What's feeling challenging at this moment? How do you want things to look 6 months from now? Having conversations with people is kind of like peeling the layers of an onion off. It's not till you get down a few layers that you really find out what the concerns are, right? So questions make space for people to share their story. And that story is where true connection begins. Listen actively and carefully. Listening is one of the most important sales skills there are. True listening means don't interrupt, don't rush, and don't assume. Let them finish. Listen for what's said and not said. When someone feels heard, they feel valued. And when they feel valued, they trust you more deeply. Listening is how relationships grow inside and outside. Now, let me tell you, actively listening, I like to say when I'm talking to somebody, do you mind if I make notes? And I'll write some key words down so that when I have really listened to understand, I'll know what I want to go back. Just to clarify, you said a couple of important things, and I might reiterate what those are. And that really, when you think about it, is a compliment to the person that you're talking to, because it means you really were listening. Explain the value clearly. Most people don't need more information. They need clarity. Clarity gives people confidence. Confidence helps them make decisions. Explaining value isn't about giving a long list of features. It's about helping people understand what are the changes that are going to happen for them, what's going to improve, what becomes easier, and more important, what becomes possible. They want to know, how will this help me? When you explain it simply, honestly, and directly, the path becomes clear. Yes, seal the deal with confidence. Confidence isn't forceful. It's steady, calm, and reassuring. When you've served, asked, listened, and explained, that final step becomes natural, not pushy. You can gently close with expressions like, would you like to move forward? Shall I send over the next steps? Is this the direction you'd like to go? Confidence soothes nerves, and people make clearer decisions when they feel grounded. Why does this matter? Because it's the human side of selling. There is a saying I deeply believe. A good salesperson understands the product. A great salesperson understands the person who's buying. Products don't build loyalty, relationships do. People remember the way you listened, the time you took, the trust you built, and the respect you showed. People are drawn to those who make them feel understood, seen, and heard. That is the essence of meaningful sales and meaningful networking. How this approach strengthens your networking efforts. Networking and sales go hand in hand, not because networking is about selling, but because both are rooted in relationships. When you apply the sales approach to your networking, conversations feel natural, people open up, opportunities grow, and referrals multiply. Your reputation strengthens. Networking becomes less about talking to everyone and more about genuinely connecting with the right people. In the long run, it's those genuine, steady relationships that carry your business forward. Building humanity back into sales. Sales becomes effortless when it becomes a place of service, empathy, curiosity, clarity, and trust. When you focus on understanding people, not persuading them, you elevate the entire experience for both sides. Selling then becomes what it always was meant to be, a conversation that creates value, a moment of clarity, a connection built on respect, a positive step forward for everyone involved. That is the heart of selling. And when we sell that way, naturally, honestly, and with intention, the impact reaches far beyond any single transaction. Stay connected and keep growing. The most important thing, no matter where you are in your business, whether you're new or you're seasoned, never stop growing your network, right? Because one day you wake up and it's like, woo, the pipeline is not filled. So when you get busy, the first thing most people stop doing is networking. That's death by installment. If you'd like to keep learning practical, heart-centered ways to make networking feel natural, I invite you to join my monthly newsletter. You'll receive insights, encouragement, updates, as well as our online and in-person community events. And if you enjoy learning through conversations, you'll enjoy my podcast, Network Equals Net Worth. And it's not about money. But the most important thing, if you want to do business in Atlantic Canada, Canada in general, although I have experience working in 33 markets with my first business globally, I have found my methods work anywhere in the world because it is people-centric. Reach out. Everybody's got a story, and I'd love to hear yours. I hope you're having a great day.